Hello and welcome back to Trappist Sunday. So this Sunday we have got Chimay or Chimay. Don't know how you pronounce it, to be honest. Chimay is the way I'm going to say it, and it's Chimay Trappist Brewery. Now, what we'll do with these is a little bit of background about the breweries. So I'm going to pull my glasses down, get into one of my books. This book is the 300 beers to try before you die. It's got some really good information in here about Chimay. So let's read that first. So what it's saying is, Chimay is the biggest of the Trappist breweries and the best known internationally. In 1850, 17 monks at the West Vleteren Abbey were given permission by their abbot to leave the community and build a new one on land donated by the Prince of Chimay. The monastery was built 10 miles from the villages of Forges-les-Chimay in the Ardennes. I think I'm saying Ardennes right, or Ardennes. Building work was completed in 1864, but a small brewery had been constructed 2 years earlier to provide sustenance for the monks and raise funds. The importance of brewing to the monks was underscored by the fact that abbey and brewery were built on the site of a well that provided copious amounts of pure water. Well, that's superb, isn't it? Can't get better than that. The beer was made available in bottled form in 1885. That's some date, that, isn't it? And in 1925, the prior allowed wider commercial distribution. So they was basically going all across. Well, I think you can pick these up pretty much anywhere. Really are international. It labels bore the image of the abbey and the enigmatic letters ADS, which stand for Abbey de Scormont. It was the first time that Trappist brewers sold beer to the outside world. German troops occupied the abbey and its brewery during World War II, and vital brewing equipment was removed for the Nazi war effort. After the war, the monks sold their beers more vigorously to help pay for rebuilding work. The renowned brewing scientist Jean de Klerk from Leuven University's Faculty of Brewing was invited by Chimay's head brewer, Father Theodore, to advise on the design of the new brewing vessels. Crucially, de Klerk took the house yeast and isolated the pure culture that developed the fruity character of their beers with their powerful blackcurrant note. Well, that's going to be interesting as well. The monks rightly treat their beers as seriously as wine, and then it's going about the first visit too, and it goes on a little bit more. So let's just see if there's anything else in my book. I've got my Brew Like a Monk book, which has got some recipes in it and quite interesting as well, home brewing stuff. It just says here about the West Vleteren. The monastery commands a hillside amid trees and surrounding farmland, regal in the manner that it makes it hard to imagine it was hacked out of marshland and forest. Monks toured for 12 years in hard conditions to complete the abbey. The first beer was produced in 1862, was called Bavaria, and was described as a bottom fermented beer such as those in Dortmund, Germany. A strong brown ale, perhaps drawing on a recipe from West Vleteren. The monks drank a weaker table beer served in a wooden cask called Beer Fort, a strong beer, in a cellar under the kitchen, and promoted the product, sold in 7 50ml bottles as Trappist made. In 1875, Chimay offered the public 2 kinds of beer, with the only difference being that the higher price one was aged in tar-coated barrels. Tar-coated barrels. Wow. Doctors endorsed the beer from tarred barrels as healthier. Chimay continued to emphasise the quality of its beer when the brewery was rebuilt after being sacked by the Germans. Sorry about that. Which I mentioned here in World War I by calling the first beer available after the war intermediate. The monks assured that a strong beer would command a higher price after undergoing a lengthy cellaring. So after the Germans sacked the brewery in World War II, they did it in World War II as well. Again, the monks decided not only to rebuild and expand, but to modernise and improve quality controls, and that's where Theodore and Dr. Clark worked together. According to Chimay records, started to use hop extracts in 1950, And then the recipe for Chimay White was in 1966. He only used hop extracts, well before smaller brewers used extracts. In 1967, Father Theodore totally replaced flowers and pellets in Chimay Red and Chimay Blue with extracts. Later, he told a visiting brewer that he made the change because extracts gave him more control over bitterness from batch to batch. I still hear that today as well. Two other Trappist breweries, Orville and West Veletran, have since begun using extracts. Yeah, so it's quite an interesting story, really. Like I say, the building was sacked and the Germans took out the brewing equipment, and they obviously went back and built it with what was the name of the guy, Jean de Klerk. They had copper vessels in 1989, replaced a new one on stainless steel. In 1989, the brewhouse designed by Klerk with glowing copper vessels was replaced by new ones based on stainless steel, with many vessels hidden from view behind tiled walls. Wow. Production is in the region of 110,000 hectolitres. That's 2.4 million gallons a year. The local water still drawn from the Abbey Well is soft and remarkably free from agricultural and urban impurities. The beers are known by their colours of their caps, so we have got the red, white and blue, all three are available in Grand Cru bottles. That's a bigger bottle, 750s. In true Trappist fashion, the monks are reluctant to say too much about the raw materials they use. But yeah, and also the beers they have is a Chimay 150, which is a novelty beer, 10% ABV. It's a strong blonde. It was first brewed in 2012 and a limited edition, 150th anniversary. That's why it's called Chimay 150. They brewed the triple, which is 8%, and that was first brewed in 1966. The gold, which I've got here, basically is a Patters beer. So this was brewed really for the monks to enjoy. So it's only 4.8%. It's a lower ABV. It's more sessionable, and it's just really for that sustenance for the monks. So that's a Patters beer. There's a Chimay Red, which is 7%. They started to brew that in 1862, and it's the oldest of the Chimay beers. And then there's the blue, and it's also the blue. It's called the Grand Reserve. There's also, I think, an oak barrel one. That's the normal blue. Grand Reserve is 9%, and that started to be brewed in 1954 as a Christmas beer. So there we go. So they've got the Trappist logo, authentic Trappist, which means it's brewed within the walls of the abbey. It's supervised, and the business is basically focused on monastic values and charities as well. So the profits are shared out within the communities. So it's an authentic Trappist beer for Trappist Sunday. Chimay. There's going to be, I will do the others in the series, but I just wanted to give a little bit of background of the brewery. Chimay, it's huge. Like I said, it's international. You can pretty much pick it up anywhere, especially the triple. I think you can get the triple in supermarkets. I got this from the local bottle stop. I think it's about £2.80 for the bottle. But I just thought, I fancy the lower ABV. I wanted to taste the beer that the monks would be drinking. So let's get the bottle opened with my fantastic Bramall Baccarin Brewery bottle opener. Cheers, Jersey. And nice gold cap on here. Like it says, the caps represent the beers as well. So we've got the gold Chimay cap for the gold. Well, it says gold on here, gold blonde Trappist beer Chimays. Let's get in the glass. Got to remember as well, I will be trying, sorry about that, a little bit of feta cheese, a little bit of cheddar cheese with this one. I'm not going to bother with chocolate on such a light beer, but that is pouring absolutely beautiful golden colour. Really is. I haven't got the authentic glass for this. I've just got a nice glass. I'm not too sure what you call that glass, is it? Is it tulip? Not too sure. But you can see that some yeast has actually gone into that. So, yep, they are bottle conditioned. So it was nice and bright. Now that yeast has gone in, unfortunately, at this point. Normally I try and keep that at bay. But it's gone in, so let's get the aroma, let's get the taste. It's got a very, very subtle aroma, to be honest. It's much more malty, and then slight, dare I say, like a citrus note. Light, very light caramel malt. Pilsner-esque, Pilsner malts, that's the sort of aroma. It does smell a little bit like a lager. It's a bit bready, a little bit lemony, citrusy. Smells great, to be honest. 4.8%. Okay, let's taste it then. Oh, cheers. Oh, the first thing I got there was a peppery note, which is lovely. That's probably, I don't know if that's coming from the hops or possibly the Chimay yeast. Yeah, I'm not getting the pepper on the nose, but in the flavour, peppery. And it does remind me, it's actually, the carbonation is super low, which is superb. It's not overcarbonated, it's not fizzy, which is great for me. And it's got a really good body. It's medium body, it's not thin at all, not 4.8%. I think that the pepperiness, I can't believe I've got to use that word again. The pepperiness and that slight zest fruit is superb. That is a fantastic beer. Really is from Chimay. It's like I say, it's peppery, it's slightly citrus, it's got a little bit floral, and it's got a backing of bread and a very, very subtle bitterness. That is absolutely cracking. I'm really pleased that I've got hold of that beer. So the Chimay Gold. So let's try it. Let's see if it does anything. See if the cheese makes a difference. See if that makes a difference to the cheese. So let's try the cheese. Cheese on its own, the feta, is quite sharp. Yeah, so on its own, it's quite sharp. So let's get a piece of that feta. I said this before when I did this. When you put that cheese in and then you go with the drink, it sort of bursts into carbonation. Flavours start to flow across the tongue. So that pepper and that malt has come through a lot more. It seems to, I don't know the chemistry around it, I do not know. It seems to kick off a nice carbonation and a tingle across the tongue, which then introduce more of that pepper and more of that bready malt. That works really well. What it also does, it just makes the feta really creamy. It just turns the feta to a nice creamy cheese, which is superb. I'm going to try with a little bit of cheddar, just because, you know, I do like cheddar cheese. So that cheddar's quite creamy already. So it'll be interesting now to try that with the cheddar. It works superb with the cheddar. The beer has brought that cheddar flavour right out. That's a lot stronger. That is now more powerful. That cheese is more powerful. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know how they, like I say, the chemistry, but these Belgian beers, these Trappist beers, sorry, and cheese work superb. The light beers, the dark beers are supposed to work better with chocolate as well. So I'm looking forward to doing some of them. But that, with cheese, is absolutely superb. That is a great beer. 4.8%. Let's get the rest of that yeast in now. 4.8%. Chimay, fantastic job. It's super. No wonder the the monks, this is their beer, the one that they're going to be drinking. So adding that extra yeast, what's it done? I think it's brought more of a floral note into the beer. Let's try the taste. It's brought flavour, it's brought more flavour. It's brought a little bit more bitterness to the beer, which is nice, because it's all very well balanced. It's superb. So there's a little bit more bitterness at the back of the tongue once I've got that yeast in. And there's a little bit more of that, how do I say, yeast flavour. Well, it's yeast, isn't it? But that yeast flavour, a little slightly bit fruity coming through as well. So either way for me, I'd actually just pour the whole bottle in, because I think it is really well balanced and it's superb. Does it say anything on the bottle? Let's have a look, see if there's anything there I can read. You can see it's got the authentic on the front, it's got the Chimay logo. It just says Belgian Trappist beer. Chimay Gold is a light blonde beer that combines spicy and floral notes with a touch of citrus. It's exactly that. It's exactly, and you're getting that. There's no messing about there. You're getting it. The Trappist logo certifies yes, brewed in the Trappist Abbey, and that the majority of sales income is intended for social aid, beer fermented in the bottle. Yeah, I think they go for like a second fermentation, Chimay. I know they've got like another room where they brew the beer, then they put the bottles and they go into another room, like a conditioning room. It's just superb. That is a superb beer. I'm really pleased about that. Belgian Trappist beer, Chimay, superb. I don't know what more to say, apart from the fact that I will be doing, if I can get hold of, the red, the blue, and the triple. Well, the triple's really easy to get hold of. The red and blue, I'm sure they've got them in my local bottle stop. So in future Trappist Sundays, I will review. Well, I'm not reviewing, tasting. Not reviewing these, I'm not scoring them. I just want to taste them. I want to taste them with cheese or the chocolate. So I'm just tasting them. I just want to know what these monks are doing, really, in this flavour. Okay, thanks for watching. Cheers. And I'll see you on the next one.